So, you want to build a top-tier career in DevOps or site reliability engineering, right? But you know it's not about just following some simple checklist. What if we could actually reverse engineer the path of a real pro? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're breaking down the career of Emre Çintay to create a practical blueprint for anyone who wants to absolutely crush it in this field. So, what does a top-tier DevOps career really look like? We're often sold this idea of a straightforward corporate ladder. But let's be real. In a field that moves as fast as this one, the journey to the top is almost never a straight line. It's way more complex and, honestly, way more interesting than that. And that leads us right into our first big idea, the portfolio career. When you look at Emre's path, you see he isn't just one thing. Nope, he's a site reliability engineer, a DevOps architect, a consultant, and an entrepreneur, all at the same time. It's about building this diverse portfolio of skills and projects, not just collecting a bunch of job titles. But hold on, before you can build a portfolio like that, you need a foundation that is rock solid. And for Emre, this was never about chasing the latest, trendiest tool. No way. It was all about deeply mastering the fundamental principles of the systems those tools run on. Okay, check out this progression. This is super interesting. He didn't just jump straight into AWS or Azure. He started at a national high-performance computing center, wrestling with massive scientific workloads. Then he moved into data centers, learning virtualization from the ground up. This is where he built that unshakable core knowledge of how computers actually work at a massive scale. And this is the key takeaway, right? Mastering these core technologies was completely non-negotiable. Think of this as the essential toolkit. Linux is the bedrock. It's the OS for basically all modern infrastructure. C gives you that critical low-level understanding of memory and processes. Then you've got Python for powerful automation. And of course, Bash, the glue that scripts everything together. And for him, OpenStack was that hands-on bridge from old-school data centers into the world of cloud. This foundation is what made everything else possible. So with that foundation solidly in place, he was ready to evolve. And this is where the story really shifts from just learning the fundamentals to applying them to bigger, more complex challenges on a global stage. This is the move from being a system admin to becoming a true architect. And this timeline just illustrates that evolution perfectly. He goes from managing on-premise infrastructure in Turkey to then bridging the worlds of high-performance computing in the public cloud in the US, and finally to architecting these huge, scalable data pipelines in Canada. You see, each step is a major leap in complexity and impact. Now, to really see this in action, just look at his work at Alta Bearing. He wasn't just managing servers anymore. He was architecting a complex system to process millions of data points. This isn't just a list of buzzwords. It's like a symphony. Python is the core logic, Celery and RabbitMQ handle the massive workload, and Postgres and Redis make sure the data is solid and fast. This, right here, is the difference between an admin and an architect. But here's where things get really, really insightful. His success isn't just about his technical chops. It's driven by a core philosophy that goes way beyond just simple automation. It's a philosophy that's all about building systems for the humans who actually have to operate them. This quote just says it all. He made this point when talking about a popular tool, the AWS CDK, which can automatically generate these crazy long, unreadable names for cloud resources. And his argument was simple but so powerful. When everything breaks at 3 a.m., an engineer on call needs to understand the system instantly. Those messy machine-generated names just get in the way. And this slide just perfectly contrasts the two mindsets. On one side, you've got automation that serves the machine, which is great for preventing errors, but it creates a total black box. On the other side, you have automation designed for human operators, focusing on transparency and making it easy to fix things in a crisis. You can see exactly where his philosophy lands. Systems have to serve people first. And that philosophy leads directly to another core principle, elevating the developer experience, or DevX. The idea is pretty simple. An SRE's job is to make developers more productive. By creating tools like internal developer platforms, you reduce their cognitive load, and you let them focus on what they do best, writing code, not wrestling with infrastructure. Okay, so how does all this come together? It brings us right back to that idea of the portfolio career, but this time with a founder's mentality. It's about structuring your career not as just a series of jobs, but as a portfolio of high-impact projects, consultancies, and maybe even your own ventures. And here's the proof in the pudding. Through his own agency, SRE Force, he applies his expertise to this incredibly diverse set of cutting-edge companies. We're talking Web3, AI, gaming, you name it. Each project is a new challenge, a new system to architect. This is that portfolio career in action. You're constantly learning and delivering huge value across totally different domains. So what's the ultimate validation of this entrepreneurial, impact-first approach? Well, how about having your own company acquired? This isn't just some theory. It actually happened. His first consultancy was so successful that it was acquired by Alta Bearing, the very company he'd later joined to lead their DevOps team. It's a powerful lesson. When you think like a founder and build real value, that value can come back to you in some pretty significant ways. All right, so we've looked at the blueprint. Now the big question: how do you actually apply this to your own career? Well, the final, absolutely crucial step is learning how to tell your story. It's all about reframing your experiences, no matter how windy the path was, to focus on the impact you created. This is so important. A recruiter might spend, 6 seconds on your resume? On the left, you see what gets tossed aside: multiple pages, walls of text, just a list of tasks. On the right is what gets you the interview: a clean, single page that screams impact and achievements with clickable links to your GitHub to prove you can walk the walk. It's all about clarity and evidence. And here's a simple, powerful formula you can use right now. Don't say, "I was responsible for deployments." Say, "I architected and automated the CI/CD pipeline, reducing deployment time by 50% and eliminating manual errors." See the difference? Start with a strong action verb, add a number to show your results, and then connect it directly to business value. That's the story you need to tell. And finally, you gotta back that story up with proof. Certifications, like this one for AWS, they're tangible symbols of your expertise. In a portfolio career, they act as these verifiable milestones that show you're committed to mastering your craft. It just makes it easy for people to trust your skills right off the bat. So, we'll leave you with this thought. The old model of a perfectly linear career, it's obsolete. The future really belongs to those who build a portfolio, who master the fundamentals, who adopt a human-centric philosophy, and who can tell a compelling story of their impact. So the question isn't, what's your next job title anymore? It's, how will you architect your career?